Good morning. It's Sunday morning, and here comes your totally unworthy teacher. I'm not worthy of the least of the mercies and the kindnesses that he showed to me and the truths that he has told me. That's what Jacob said when he came back from Padan Aram. So I crossed over this Jordan with nothing but my staff. But I'll come back and I'm two bands. He's there in Mount Gilead. He prays the night before he meets Esau when he comes back from being in Padan Aram with his father-in-law Laban. He's got all his family and his flocks and his herds with him. And Jacob said in verse 9 of chapter 31, Genesis, he said, O God of my father Abraham, God of my father Isaac, the Lord which saidst unto me, return unto thy country and unto thy kindred, and I will deal well with thee. I'm not worthy of the least of all the mercies, and of all the truth which thou showed unto thy servant. For with my staff I passed over this Jordan. Now I'm become two bands. I'm not worthy. When he left Canaan, went to hide from his brother Esau. He goes to his mother's brother. He stays at Bethel. The name of the place was Luz, but he called it Bethel. I can't seem to turn the page. Oh, man. I can't even come up with the Bob Seger song, Turn the Page. Turn the page. There it is. He named the place Bethel, called it God's house, because God appeared to him. And Jacob vowed a vow in verse 20 of chapter 28 of Genesis. Jacob vowed a vow, saying, if God will be with me and will keep me in this way that I go, and will give me bread to eat and raiment to put on, so that I come again to my father's house in peace, then shall the Lord be my God. And this stone which I have set up for a pillar shall be God's house. And of all that thou shalt give me, I will surely give the tenth unto thee. But then he says, I've come back and I'm two bands. And he's praying to God and he says, I'm not worthy. I don't believe that Jacob was saved when he went to Padan Aram. I believe he was saved when he came back, though. At the end of Jacob's life, he blesses Joseph's children he says, and he blessed Joseph, verse 15 of chapter 49, Genesis. 48, chapter 48, I'm sorry. And he blessed Joseph and said, God, before whom my fathers Abraham and Isaac did walk, the God which fed me my life long to this day, the angel which redeemed me from all evil. And oh, there was plenty of evil. The angel which delivered me from all evil. We can all pray that prayer of gratitude, because Jesus was an angel in the sense that he was the messenger. That's what an angel is a messenger. Of course, Jesus is better than the angels, and he was made a little lower than the angels to suffer death for all men. But he is the living Son of God, risen Son of God. But he came as a messenger, and the message was to repent, for the kingdom of heaven is at hand. The angel which redeemed me from all evil. Jesus has redeemed me from all evil. Do I still see evil? Yes. Do I still commit evil? Yes, at times. And I have, and I'm guilty. But he has redeemed me from it. He has paid the price. He has paid the cost with his precious blood. And I'm willing to die for him, because dying for him is easier than living for him, let me tell you. But in most instances, he prefers that we live for him. The angel which redeemed me from all evil, bless the lads, and let my name be named upon them. He wasn't saved when he first hit Bethel. On his way back to Canaan 20 years later, when he came to Bethel, or to Mahanaim on the far side of Jordan, in Gilead, he was saved then. But at the end of his life, blessing his sons, he's grateful. And he understands that he didn't bribe God with a tithe, that God gave him everything he had: the flocks, the herds, the children, the land, the future. The God who lives forever, the angel who redeemed me from all evil, the angel who paid the full price. We begin this morning. I'm reading Ed's Bible because my eyes are squirrely, so forgive me if I get a little lost. Ed gave me a lovely Bible with large print, but it's laid out differently than the Bible that I usually use, so sometimes it looks unfamiliar to me, but the words are the same. Chapter 47 of Isaiah is a judgment upon Babylon. Isaiah is writing this 90 years before Babylon will be a world power. He's writing this, 12, a little less than 100 years before Babylon will defeat the Assyrian Empire and capture and destroy Nineveh, the great Assyrian kingdom. He's writing about the time when Babylon will take Judah captive and take them in to captivity in Babylon But what will happen to them later? That they will be judged, that they will be conquered. And they did fall to the Persians in 539 BC, Babylon did. But as we shall see over several days here, that this describes a fall that is far beyond the fall that they suffered at the hands of the Persians, because Cyrus took the city without a fight. He snuck in under the wall in the viaduct, remember? They dammed the Euphrates and diverted part of the river that went under the wall of the city. The water went down to about thigh high, and the army went in under the wall. They executed the ruling class, but took the city without a fight. And so it was all preserved. It was even there 200 plus years later when Alexander came along and made Babylon his capital. We're going to do some comparisons, because the fall of Babylon that Isaiah is describing is not going to happen 100 years or 150 years later. It's going to happen at least 2,700 years later. It is still future in our future. But he begins by talking to the Babylon that was in his day and that would be in 539 BC when the Persians captured it. Chapter 47 of Isaiah, God speaking through Isaiah, a judgment upon Babylon. Come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. Sit on the ground. There is no throne, O daughter of the Chaldeans. That's why you're sitting on the ground, because there's no throne left. You've been thrown off the throne. You've been thrown from the throne. Wow. They was thrown. Come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. Sit on the ground. There is no throne, O daughter of the Chaldeans. There's a throne, but not for the Chaldeans. It's for the Medes and the Persians now. Come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. Sit on the ground. There is no throne, O daughter of the Chaldeans. For thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate. In other words, you have ripped your breeches with me, saith the Lord, and you're going to go through some steps. There will be repercussions and consequences for your actions. Thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate, the virgin daughter, the princess, the royal house. He's using the description of a woman, of a princess, of a tender virgin, that he's talking to the ruling class of Babylon. That would fall to the Persians and the Medes in 539. And of course, Isaiah's writing this around 712 BC. Come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. Sit on the ground, there is no throne. O daughter of the Chaldeans, for thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate. Take the millstones and grind meal. Uncover thy locks, make bare the leg. Uncover the thigh. Pass over the rivers. What does that mean? Talks about someone that is taken from the palace and made a slave. We're seeing the tender virgin of the ruling class of Babylon doing the work of a servant or a slave. Take the millstones and grind. You know, when they sat on the throne in the palace, there's no throne, but when they were on the throne, Somebody else did the grinding of the meal, either corn or wheat, to make bread. Somebody else did the grinding. Uncover thy locks, make bare the leg. Put up your hair, make bare the leg. Have you ever seen the women grinding? They're either squatting or kneeling, and the leg is bared because they've got to get that basket between their legs to sweep the ground meal into the basket or into their hop. Uncover the thigh and pass over the rivers. That's one thing you do when you're taken captive. You're on the march, just like Sherman marched through Georgia. You're on the march. You got to go. They move you from here to there. They remove you from here and put you there. Then they might remove you from there and take you elsewhere, because then you're a slave to the captive, to the captor, to the person who takes you captive, to the conqueror. Come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. Sit on the ground, there is no throne. O daughter of the Chaldeans, for thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate. Take the millstone and grind meal. Uncover thy locks, make bare the leg, uncover the thigh, pass over the rivers. Thy nakedness shall be uncovered, yeah, and a shame shall be seen. Now, this is a terrible thing, but what did conquerors do? They took their gold and drank their wine and raped their women. They saw it as the spoils of war. It was not pleasant, believe me. I can't even believe it was all that pleasant for the conquerors. Thy nakedness shall be uncovered, yea, thy shame shall be seen. I will take vengeance, God says, on you, Babylon, for what you did to Israel when you were allied with the Assyrians, and with what you did to Judah after you had conquered the Assyrians. I will take vengeance, God says. I will not meet thee as a man. In other words, it's not going to be a fair fight. God says, when I deal with you, you're going to wish you was back there in Babylon digging a ditch or planting a cornfield. You're not going to be happy when I visit you, Babylon, because I'm going to take vengeance on you. I'm not going to meet you as a man. I'm going to meet you as God. And nothing you do will prevail against me. No fight you fight can stand against me. I will overcome you. I won't meet you as a man. Thy nakedness shall be uncovered, yea, thy shame shall be seen. I will take vengeance. I will not meet thee as a man. As for our Redeemer, Isaiah said, the Lord of hosts is his name, the Holy One of Israel. God's going to make all this happen. God will punish Babylon. And we're going to read verse 5, and then we're going to do a little traveling through the book here. Sit thou silent. God is saying to the Babylonians that he's pictured as a virgin daughter that is taken from the throne and treated as a slave and treated as a captive. Sit thou silent and get thee into darkness, O daughter of the Chaldeans. For thou shalt no more be called the Lady of Kingdoms. You know, there's going to come a time when the spirit of Babylon will be carried again, and it will rule the world. How does it begin? Well, it's never really gone away. It went from Babylon to Pergamon, and then it went from Pergamon to Rome, where it is now. One day it will, at least in spirit, return to Babylon and be known through all the world as Babylon. Zechariah sees a vision. He sees 8 visions. And this is one of them. In chapter 5 of Zechariah. Good morning, Susie. God bless you. Then the angel that talked with me went forth and said unto me, this is Zechariah 5, verse 5. We studied this in depth when we did Zechariah. Yes, happy Sunday morning, Pastor Susie. Good morning, Kevin. God bless you. The angel that talked with me went forth and said unto me, lift up now thine eyes and see, what is this that goeth forth? And I said, what is it? And he said, this is an ephah that goeth forth. It's a big basket. Picture a bushel basket. Only an ephah would hold what? Nearly 5 bushels, 4.5 bushels. It's a big basket. It's an ephah that goeth forth. He said, moreover, this is their resemblance throughout all the earth. What resemblance? So he sees more of a vision. Good morning, Charlie. And behold, there was lifted up a talent of lead. And this is a woman that sitteth in the midst of the ephah. There's a woman in a basket, got a lead lid on top, holding her in there. The angel takes the lid off so you can see inside that basket, and it's a woman. And then he said, this is wickedness. And he cast it into the middle of the ephah. And he cast the weight of lead upon the mouth thereof. He shows Zechariah the woman, throws her back in the basket, and puts that lead lid on top of her head so she can't get out. And I lifted up mine eyes and looked, and behold, there came out 2 women, and the wind was in their wings, for they had wings like the wings of a stork. Remember, the stork was an unclean animal. It's one of the things that you couldn't eat under the Levitical law. It's an unclean bird. Women with the wings of an unclean bird. This represents a false religion. It represents witchcraft and goddess worship and everything that God is against. They had the wings of a stork. There's a woman in a basket that's named wickedness. There's a lead cover on her head, and 2 women with wings like storks' wings come out. They're not angels. Angels don't have stork wings. Then I lifted up mine eyes and looked, and behold, there came out 2 women, and the wind was in their wings. For they had wings like the wings of a stork, and they lifted up the ephah between the earth and the heaven. They're carrying her away. They're flying her away, and where are they going? Then said I to the angel that talked with me, Whither do these bear the ephah? Where are they taking her? And he said unto me, To build it an house in the land of Shinar, and it shall be established and set there upon her base. What is Shinar? We have to go back. It's all through the Bible. We have to go back to Genesis chapter 10. Verse 8, And Cush begat Nimrod, and he began to be a mighty one in the earth. He was a mighty hunter before the Lord, wherefore it is said, even as Nimrod, the mighty hunter before the Lord. And the beginning of his kingdom was Babel, and Erech, and Akkad, and Calneh, in the land of Shinar. And out of that land he went to Assyria and builded Nineveh. The plain of Shinar, chapter 11, Genesis. The whole world was of one language and one speech. And it came to pass, as they journeyed from the east, they found a plain in the land of Shinar, and dwelt there. And they said one to another, Go to, let us make brick and burn them thoroughly. And they had brick for stone, and slime had they for mortar. And they said, Go to, let us build us a city and a tower whose top may reach unto heaven. And let us make us a name, lest we be scattered abroad upon the face of the whole earth. And the Lord came down to see the city and the tower which the children of men builded. The Lord said, Behold, the people is one, and they have all one language. And this they begin to do. Now nothing will be restrained from them which they have imagined to do. Go to, let us go down, and there confound their language, that they may not understand one another's speech. So the Lord scattered them abroad from thence upon all the face of the earth, and they left off to build the city. Therefore the city, the name of it is called Babylon, because the Lord did there confound the language of all the earth. And from thence did the Lord scatter them abroad upon the face of the earth. The plain of Shinar, the plain of Shinar. That is where Babylon is. And what we will see is that when she goes to the plain of Shinar and has her kingdom set up, this is going to be the ultimate fulfillment of chapter 47 of Isaiah. Verse 19, after the seventh vial is poured into the air, the judgments of Revelation, 7 seals, 7 trumpets, and 7 vials of the wrath of God poured out upon the earth during the great tribulation. And here at the end of it, at the 7th vial, chapter 16 of the Revelation, verse 17. Sometimes I have trouble reading these words because I'm so wicked. I'm saved by the grace of God. And I still want things, and I still sometimes lust and envy and have greed, and I have to pound it down constantly. Just like a kid pounds with that hammer and peg set and drives them pegs down into that board. Then you flip it over and drive them down again. The spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. You get old, you get careful. And when you get careful, that is, you start thinking more about your comfort than you do about the things of God. We got to guard against that all the time. We want to finish well, whether we're 60 or 70 or 80. We want to finish our walk well and give no occasion to the flesh. It's a constant vigil. You don't ever get past it. And the seventh angel poured out his vial into the air, and there came a great voice out of the temple of heaven from the throne, saying, "It is done." And there were voices and thunders and lightnings, and there was a great earthquake, such as was not since men were upon the earth. So mighty an earthquake, and so great. And the great city was divided into three parts, and the cities of the nations fell. And great Babylon came into remembrance before God, to give unto her the cup of the wine of the fierceness of his wrath. And every island fled away, and the mountains were not found. And there fell upon men a great hail out of heaven, every stone about the weight of a talent. And men blasphemed God because of the plague of the hail, for the plague thereof was exceeding great. Chapter 17, Revelation. And there came one of the seven angels, which had seven vials, and talked with me, saying unto me, Come hither, and I will show thee the judgment of the great whore that sitteth upon many waters, with whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication, and the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk with the wine of her fornication. So he carried me away in the spirit to the wilderness, and I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet-colored beast, full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads, 10 horns. And the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet color, and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls, having a golden cup in her hand full of abominations and filthiness of her fornication. Upon her forehead was a name written, Mystery, Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots, and the abominations of the earth. I saw the woman drunken with the blood of the saints, and with the blood of the martyrs of Jesus. And when I saw her, I wondered with a great admiration. That is Babylon. That is the Babylon that will be judged. That is the Babylon of which Isaiah speaks in 712 BC. The Babylon that is not yet, the culmination of all of man's sorcery and wickedness and abomination and rebellion against God at the end of the world, at the end of the great tribulation, when Babylon the Great comes into judgment. That is where we have to set our sights, because that's where Isaiah has set its sights. Sit thou silent, and get thee into darkness, O daughter of the Chaldeans, for thou shalt no more be called the Lady of Kingdoms. And we will read more about her fall and more about her torment and her disastrous end as we study Isaiah chapter 47. Thou shalt no more be called the Lady of Kingdoms. It's coming with increasing rapidity. It is advancing upon us quickly. The judgment of God, the wrath of God, the full cup of his wrath poured upon the earth. We are heading there. We are speeding there as if there was no tomorrow. But there is a tomorrow. And the gods of this world will be judged. And Babylon will be judged. And the rich and the powerful and the ungodly will be brought down. And the followers of Christ will be exalted in that day, because they received the gospel as it were the word of God and not the word of man. What divides a saint from a sinner is the Savior. Are you saved? Is all of your trust in Jesus Christ? Make sure of that today, friends. Follow him. At all costs, follow him. God bless you.